Did Jimmy just make Big Brother history? I do believe this is the first time a head of a house had to nominate five house guests. I mean, Jimmy's HOH run was problematic and a total fail, in my opinion, because he ruled by emotion. He was so focused on Keanu that he forgot the object of the game to eliminate threats as swiftly as possible. And going after Keanu was not a strategic move because Keanu has not won any comps, and his verbal vomit makes him the least threatening person in the house. As HOH, Jimmy had the opportunity to make some big moves. I mean, you never reveal your thoughts on who to put on the block, and you certainly don't ask if you can put someone on the block. You have the power as HOH for the week. Let the house guests come to you and plead their case as to why they should stay in the house. As HOH, it's your opportunity to make deals without revealing that you are making deals. As HOH, it's your opportunity to see where everyone's head is. And you know what? I don't get the point of putting people on the block just to flush out powers. I mean, for one, you're just making unnecessary enemies. And two, you're showing your hand. And three, when they take themselves off the block, you now have to put up more people, which gives you more blood on your hands. As HOH, Jimmy should have strategically found out who had the power and then quietly make deals with them so that if they become the next HOH, he won't go on the block since he could not or you cannot compete when you've just had a run. So the HOH is the opportunity to get as many deals as possible. But the caveat is you should make the deals with the people who have the power and those who can win comps. Because a house guest that can't win a comp, that's no good for your game. And Jimmy should have used that opportunity as HOH to backdoor Rachel. And while we're on the subject of Rachel, why are the house guests trembling at her bark? I mean, Rachel only had one person on her side, and that was Amy, and she was one of the weakest players in the house. I mean, Rachel is actually flying solo because she has no allies. Why can't the rest of the house guests see that? And as a two-time veteran of Big Brother, shouldn't Rachel have known that when you openly reveal who your number two is, it's like putting them on the fast track to the block? But I have to give it to Rachel. She did come to her sense and realize that she can't bark orders at the house with no allies, especially when that ally is a weak player. Now, Amy is a good person, a nice person, but a Big Brother player, she's not. I mean, that eviction was cold-blooded. Not even one vote in her favor. Brutal. At this point, the only person that's rocking with Rachel is Ashley. And in my opinion, Rachel is just replacing one weak player for another because Ashley is problematic. I mean, she's a little self-centered and she's making enemies. So, how do I see the house guests that are remaining? I placed them in three categories. The first one is problematic. And under that problematic category is Keanu because his verbal vomit is out of control. Even when he has good intentions of trying to get an ally, the way he speaks and the things he says, he just makes an enemy. So, and a good example of that was with Rachel. When he was giving her the highlight reels of her season, he just pointed out all the bad stuff that she didn't like about herself, and she immediately took it as he was attacking her and coming after her. So now she's making him a target. And then there's Jimmy. I mean, there's just too much drama with him. He is too emotional. He's like a loose cannon. He doesn't play well with the other guests. Whenever he feels like someone is coming after him, he reveals his hand by getting this big announcement, just like Angela did in the last season, 26. And he doesn't work well with his allies because as head of the household, You are in charge, but if you have allies, get their thoughts, get their opinions, see what they think, and how to best strategize so you guys can be the final three. But he didn't do that. He just didn't do that. And then there's Ashley. Like I said before, she's a little drama queen and she's self centered and she just does not pick her team well. She just does not. The second category is floaters. Under that category, there's Ava. I mean, she just bops around being like this flower girl, unassuming, just here and there, talking to this person but not saying much, moving here but not going anywhere. She's playing under the radar. And that brings me to Catherine. She's also under the radar because she's not joining any group. The only person I've seen herself aligned with is Lauren, and she's only with Lauren because she thinks Lauren is popular, but she doesn't want to go to the final two with her. Now, that just shows that she's not a very good player because it doesn't matter who you take with you to the final two. Because if you have wins under your belt, multiple HOH wins, multiple comp wins, and you've shown yourself to be a good social player, you can still take home the $750,000. But that's not how she sees it. She wants to drop Lauren when it gets to a certain point, and I can understand that also. And then there's Riley. He's appearing to be cool with everybody, but he's not loyal to anyone. He just says whatever he needs to say with whomever he's with. And then there's Zach, who is also under the floater category because I don't see him playing the game either. I mean, he's cool with the guys, he's cool with the girls, he's laying low, he's not causing any stir, he doesn't voice any opinion to anyone on anything at any time. That's a floater. And then there's the third category, strategic. And I think Lauren is quietly being strategic because she has sense enough to know to fly under the radar. And the two times that I've heard her speak, it was logical. Because, like the time when they were trying to figure out who the mastermind's accomplice was, she reasoned that it had to be a female because the guy to girl ratio was off. That was a good point. That was a valid point. And then again, during Jimmy's HOH, she said this is the perfect time to get Rachel's only ally out of the house. That was smart because it was the time to get her out. And then under this category is Vince. Now, Vince, after the debacle that his HOH was, he's been laying very low. He's fading into the background, doesn't make any waves. That's what you need to do because he wants to take the heat off himself. And people just totally forget about what happened the first HOH run. Smart. And then there's Mickey. Now, Mickey, she is playing the game because she knows how to remain quiet. She never revealed her power to anyone other than to Morgan. And when she was speaking to Jimmy, she did not voice anything about her opinion. She didn't even volunteer her thoughts. She didn't try to convince him to put someone else on the block or trying to persuade him in any way. She only told him what he wanted to hear, and she said that you earned this spot, so it's your decision. But she wasn't happy with it, but she did not reveal her hand. And even when she was trying to garner the votes to get Will to stay in the house, she let Morgan go around and garner those votes. She didn't do it. That's a good player. And then I also have to put Ava under this category as well because even while she's walking around as the flower girl, I think she's playing it up a little bit more because in that way she's just floating under the radar. No one sees her as a threat. No one sees her as a problem. No one sees her in any drama. It's just like she's almost invisible. So she is maybe being very strategic and she just may float her way all the way to the final three. And then I have a bonus category, and that's the wild card. And that goes to Rachel because Rachel, being a two-time veteran, she knows how to flip the switch. She knows how to go from this game plan to the next game plan so that she can stay in the house as long as possible. And then there's Kelly. I'm not sure what type of game she's playing because she's constantly offering herself up on the block. And then when she gets on there, she cries and whines, and then she takes herself off. And she thinks that she's doing a really good game because she's had all of these easy comps to win. So I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's a bit of a wild card to me. So I'm not sure where she will go in this game. I just don't know. She is just floating. She's floating and she's strategic at the same time, if I can get my words out. So for this Sunday's episode, I'd like to see someone different win the HOH. I'd like to see either Catherine, Ava, Keanu, or Riley. And I'll tell you why. Because Catherine stated that she'd like to shake things up. Now, if she would actually do it, that remains to be seen. But I would like her to win the HOH if she is really going to shake things up, because that would make for an interesting game. Then there's Ava, because I just want to know whose side she's on. She doesn't seem to have any side other than the fact that she wants Keanu gone. And then there's Riley. I want him to win HOH because that will force him to play the game and show some backbone. And then finally, Keanu. Because, well, if you watched up until this time, you know why. If he doesn't experience that temporary amnesia he has with Jimmy, always thinking, oh, we're cool, we had a beef, but we're cool, that's delusional, he could possibly backdoor Jimmy because if he put him on the block straight, Jimmy can win comps, so he runs the risk of Jimmy not going home. But if he backdoors him, then he could get Jimmy out of the house. So what do you guys think? Will Rachel cause chaos in the house as a distraction and skate her way to the finals for a third time? Will Keanu take a shot at Jimmy? Will the perpetual pawn Kelly avoid the block next week? Who knows? Until next time, it's Paprika out.